Hello, good evening and welcome to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral, the first of our Friday night autumn previews. As from here on in, the weekends get very tasty indeed, and they don't get too tastier than Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe weekend. I hope you're prepared for tonight's preview because it's going to be an absolute cracker. Like I said, the big race on Sunday might be missing a few big names, but it's still a very attractive lineup indeed. And you've also got a cracking supporting card as well, not only on Sunday but also over in France on Saturday. I'm sure some of you might be over for the weekend while you are watching this, or potentially sat in a Eurostar queue or something similar to that. But do say hello on the chat box if you are heading over. We've also got the joys of Ascot and Newmarket, and of course a big day at Redcar on Saturday. It's one of those busy weekends where we'd love to fit them all in, but we're going to focus on quality over quantity tonight. A bit of Newmarket, a bit of Ascot, and then the big race at Longchamp on Sunday in all its glory as well. Like I said, do like the stream if you're watching right now. Make sure you feed that hungry YouTube algorithm and get your selections in. Again, capital letters for your main fancies in the chat box, and we'll try and squeeze as many in as we possibly can. Feels like it feels like a hell of a long time since I've seen the man sat to my left. Only once in about 2 months, but that's the vagaries of the flat season. It all comes at once. Then there's a break, and then there's a burst of Doncaster, and then a break, and then we're back for that sort of an autumn campaign where the jump season starts to loom and threaten. But we've still got some absolute cracking weekends on the flat.
Yeah, and this is a cracking weekend, isn't it? You know, we've got top class racing in France 2 days, and obviously some very, very decent races, including a Group 1 at Newmarket, big handicaps at Ascot, the sort of things that I like. But yeah, loads to get stuck into.
How's Paul Kealy's form, would it be?
It's not horrific.
Right, okay,
It's good, yeah. No, it's okay. I mean, I don't tend to bet very much early in the week these days anyway.
Yep.
So, you know, unless I'm backing for Saturday's horses, I mean, I backed 3 or 4 horses anti-post. One of them was a non-runner, one of them was balloted out, and another one was declared a non-runner, after being declared. I'm assuming that's because he got stalled 20 of 20 at Redcar. Right, yeah. Because they normally go on the other side of that, but we'll come to that.
Yeah, they do tend to cling to that far rail, don't they?
Yeah.
All right, so let's hope some of them actually turn up then.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Paul Kealy in the studio. Tom Segal is sat at home, ready and raring to go, and a first glimpse. I feel like I'm on a prime time BBC show, and we're showing you like the first trailer or the first shot from a big budget Marvel film. But no, it's the first shot we've ever seen of Tom Segal's office. Look at that.
We've got old dog in the far right hand corner and new dog on the sofa. That's my office. And the dartboard behind. And as you can see, 1 to 20. So in the 20 runner handicap at Ascot tomorrow, it was like number 3.
That doesn't look high enough, Tom.
No, it's not. But when you're sitting down, it's all right. You see, it's perfect.
Yeah, lovely stuff. All right. Well, we'll see if any of your arrows land this weekend. What about your form? Is this a time of the year that you like, Tom? Again, it is very weekend heavy, and the gap between the quality of the racing is probably at its most severe at this time of the year.
Flat, so. Jumps so far, pretty decent. Yeah, I had a good few winners at Listal, which was nice in the Listal Festival the other week. So I'm sort of switching to jump mode. I'm quite enjoying it. A couple of Nigel Twist and Davis winners this week, and yeah, I'm quite enjoying the jumps at the moment. The flat stuff on soft ground where you don't know which side of the track they're going to go on. I mean, this Ascot, we have no. I mean, if you just watch the last race at Ascot there. They went on the far side. I was expecting them all to be on the high numbers for tomorrow's racing. Who knows where they're going to go? It's just a guessing game for me. So I find it really difficult at this time of the year. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully that won't be the issue in France this weekend, where we've got some tremendous stuff.
Yeah, we have indeed. I mean, admittedly, you say Nigel Twist and Davis. I mean, it's October, isn't it? You've got your Twist and Davis, your William Haggis back end, youngsters slogging through the mud. Rafe Beckett. I mean, it is, David O'Mara. It's very much sort of trainers for this time of year, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's just what we do, which Keels and I do. We get lots of these big field handicaps, and you can do all the work you like on them, and then the Cambridgeshire happens, and you've got, unless you're one of 5 or 6 horses, you've got no chance from the word go. So it's tricky. Sometimes it works in your favour. Often it works in your favour. Sometimes it doesn't. Who knows where they're going to go at Ascot tomorrow, and that just makes it really tricky. But as you say, sticking to the trainers that you know and are going to be sort of targeting races around this time is the first place to start.
Yeah, maybe we could have a live draw of a big handicap as Tom Segal throws darts to see where your horse gets allotted.
Yeah.
But that'd be fun. I'm sure people are tuning in for that. Simon, Clare, it's autumn's in the air. Are you off to Gay Paris this weekend?
I'm not. My colleague David Stevens, I think, set off this morning because obviously you have to leave on Friday morning for a race that takes place at 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon. I think it comes back Tuesday probably, but I used to do that trip all the time when I was a younger man, and I managed to justify his work. So yeah, I did the trip over. It was always a great trip. I can remember lots of feeling hungover on the Sunday morning, which is the worst way to feel when you're going to a busy race meeting. But no, I now enjoy it watching it on the telly most of the time. So and actually, yeah, that's given the weather and everything else going on with football and racing, it's not the worst place to be.
Yeah, come on, Si, tell the truth. When are you off to America for the Breeders' Cup?
Yeah.
Okay, I am going over to
There we go.
There you go. That's fine.
Well,
So
Steve gets Paris, I get California. It's a fair swap.
Yeah, it is, and then and they're two of your clocks on the back of the wall, aren't they? But okay, so Paris does it. So the Ark won't have a Goliath, but it will have a David. We've at least got that.
Oh, very good, very good.
At least got that confirmed. And you were saying about a younger man. You have to be reminded by a producer. There was a lovely video of you looking fresh-faced and fancy-free on the on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days, Simon. I mean, you look almost identical as you did. When was that? 20, 30 years ago? What was it?
A bit of a shock, yeah. That was literally 30 years ago. It was July meeting 1994, interviewed by Ross Scott on Channel 4 Racing. It was great fun. And I was at the BHB, which is the precursor of the BHA, having been on a graduate course, which I was then involved in, and I was in an interview with all the other students, which included Lisa Rowe, who then became Lisa Hancock and ran Newmarket Racecourse for many years and is now the CEO of the Indian Jockeys Fund, and also Alan Del Monte with hair, who's now the CEO.
Yeah, I was pretty flabbergasted, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him in that suit as well, that he still has.
Yes, I think he's still got the suit, yeah. But it was good fun. It was a very bizarre to see it pop up. That's it was the history of horse racing XP. Fantastic, and particularly for older people like us. He's always putting up lots of clips of Channel 4, Morning Line, BBC Racing, etc. from the 90s, and occasionally you sort of see people which is quite good fun. This time it was me.
I'm just having a look. So that was what, 1994 then, when you said everything. So who won the Ark in 1994?
Oh, no idea.
It was Andre Farb's Carnegie, apparently.
Oh my God, Carnegie!
So,
wow.
There you go.
I didn't tell you won the Ark last year, let alone 95.
Never mind that. All we want to know is who's going to win the Ark this year. That's what we're here
Look
for.
forward.
What have you got for us tonight, Simon, in terms of extras, offers, etc.?
Yes, so in the Cumberland Lodge Stakes, we got one of these hour-long specials. William Haggis's double loaded with Alassi and Hamish. I think they work out about 5 to 6. We backed them both. We're going 6 to 5 for the hour-long show. And Andre Fabre in the Arc has 3 runners, doesn't he? Saucy, Savina's Knighton. Is it Mr. Savine? Is that the way you pronounce it? Anyway.
I was waiting for someone else to say it first.
Strange name,
it won't stick in my head either. So.
But anyway, Andre Fabre to train the winner of the Arc, which he's obviously done quite a few times, is 4 to 1 from 3 to 1. So it works out. But obviously Saucy being the lead contender.
Okay, lovely stuff. Thank you very much. Right, well, we'll get stuck into that in a second. Again, get involved on the chat. Let us know what you fancy about the weekend, and we'll have a look at Newmarket, Ascot, and Longchamp in just a mo. Free bets then on the Racing Post app are currently available there. Right, okay. Let's have a look then at the weekend's action. We're going to start off at Newmarket with their opening contest on Saturday, the 1:30, a Premier Fillies Handicap, worth 25 grand to the winner. I said about certain trainers at this time of year. William Haggas is certainly one of those, and Min Hoona is 5-2 favourite for the Haggas team. Ashuriba is 6-1, Noisy Jazz 7s, Warder Jamelia 7s. Carmology is 9-1, Queen of Soldiers 10s, Yorkshire Lady 11s, La Passioniara is 12-1, and bigger prices at the rest here. We've got some nice types in here, and you have to be a nice type to win this. We've had some good horses. Al Hussein and Via Sistine have won this in recent years before going on to Group 1 glory. So if you're an unexposed 3-year-old and you win this quite well, I think connections will be excited about you going on to Group Glory as a 4-year-old next year. Few of these obviously have pluses and minuses in the column, whether it's ground or track form or coming into it in rattling form, as Min Hoona and Ashuriba are. There are a few older horses, the likes of your Carmologies and your Yorkshire Ladies are in good nick as well, but it is the 3-year-olds who dominate the betting with the first 4 in there. All of the classic generation, and all improving fillies at the back end of the season in good form, and most of them in good fitness as well, Keels. First off, before you give me your tip, what do you make of the fancy 3-year-olds?
Yeah, well, they've won most of the run-ins, haven't they? I think they've won 6 of the 8 or whatever that they've been, or 7 of the 9. But I actually had a look, and there've only been 2 horses older than 4 that have run in it since 2016.
Yeah.
So you do tend to favour the young, unexposed sorts at this time of year, don't you? They're still getting a fair bit of weight for age. And I think Min Hoona is definitely the right favourite. She's won her last 2. She won pretty easily. She won pretty well. Pulled well clear with Cheshire Dancer, I think it was last time at Sandown. The only thing is that the 2nd and 4th in that race have both only beaten 1 horse home since. Now Cheshire. Is it Cheshire Lady?
Cheshire Dancer.
Cheshire Dancer. Cheshire Dancer was 6th of 7, and she wasn't beaten very far. You can't say she ran badly, but the winner is in this race, and she's only £3 higher, whereas Min Hoona's £8 higher. And the winner's Yorkshire Lady. I thought she was quite interested as an older horse, simply because she was, a couple of seasons ago, she was a lot better than this. She's running off 82 now, having gone up £3. She was rated 90. Last year was, a bit of a waste of a year, really. It was a stop-start year. She had 4 runs with big breaks between, each set of 2. Whereas this season, she's run once over hurdle, she's won. She's had 3 runs on the flat. She's run well in all of them, winning last time. And yeah, she's got a reasonable handicap. I just thought she was an interesting each way against the Jolly.
Yeah, and she's fresh for this time of the year as well, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's fresh. She's been better than the handicap mark. And having had a waste of a 2023, she kept back going in the right direction, I think.
Okay. Yorkshire Lady then is 11-1 at Newmarket. Plenty of disgruntled Yorkshire ladies on the train down for me today, as we were all delayed. There was hundreds of them, I tell you. But a big price there at 11-1. What about you, Tom Segal? Any angles on this Newmarket opener?
Whatsoever, really, but I thought Min Hoona would win. I was really impressed with her at Sandown last time. Time was good. I know Cheshire Dancer or whatever she was called blew out last time. I don't think that's her form. I was really impressed with her at Sandown. Time was good, strong at the finish. Typical, as you pointed out, Haggas improver. I wouldn't back her at 5-2, but I thought she might win. I'm a bit of a fan of horse Simon knows well. Warder Jamila's half brother to, what's that name of that stayer for the Geldings that won?
Coltrane.
Coltrane.
Yeah, she's a half sister to him. I think she's getting better. I was quite impressed with her attitude at Haydock last time, where she stuck her head down and got up on the line. I think she's improving, but I thought Min Hoona might win, so I didn't give it probably as much time as I should have, because I would have probably had a good look at Yorkshire Lady on Keels' advice. But Haggas this time of year, 4-runner filly, improving, 2 wins by a name, probably a bit more to come from her.
Okay, there we go then. And Min Hoona then the 5-2 favourite, who probably is the one to beat. Obviously we've got David Menuisier's Ashuri, but he could have a cracking weekend, couldn't he? He's got 3 big chances on Saturday, and of course Sunway in the Arc on Sunday. And we're talking about autumn trainers, Tom. I mean, a new name to add to the mix is James Owen, isn't it? I mean, he's in absolutely cracking nick, and I do like Newmarket horses at Newmarket. We know it's a fairly quirky track. Noisy Jazz, any interest?
She's just a bit keen. She's just she wore, I think, did she wear a hood on her debut or something? And she won by miles, but then she went up in trip and she was just too keen. Much better effort back again last time. If she settles, yes, I would give her a chance, definitely. She's by Ulysses, isn't she? And they tend to get better as they get on through the season. So, yes, I'd give her a chance. Stable couldn't be in better form. You're spot on.
Okay, let's have a look at the chat then. Hello to Genghis, to Darren Walker, to Duncan Evans, to Greensail, to Jim Stanton, and many more. Bonsoir to you, Jim. Indeed. Robert Blackburn, Ashariba for me. Manoussier is good for a win on most Saturdays. A few opinions flying around for this Newmarket opener, Simon Clare.
Yeah, I mean, the market's been quite interesting the last couple of hours. Ashariba was a 9-2 chance, but it sort of walked out to 6-1. I suppose those two all-weather wins, sort of a very different test running at Newmarket on what is such a stiff track. Noisy Jazz has been shortened into 7-1. Carmology, bit of money for that. And Queen of Soldiers, their sort of outside has been backed, and even a bit of money for Yorkshire Lady. So I think the market's speaking against the front few, although the favourite's solid. The horse I thought was interesting, you alluded to it at the front of the show, is Rafe Beckett's stable's in really good form, always is this time of year. So he had a winner at Sancro as well as at Ascot today. And he's got two in the race. Treasure was cautiously priced at 7-1, but has not really shown an awful lot this season, has drifted out. But the one I like is La Passionaro, who obviously fourth in the Musadora, ran a Group 3 when last seen out in June. Hasn't run since then. I mean, I suppose you'd like a little bit of encouragement maybe from the market, but I just thought at an each-way price from a stable in red-hot form in a race where there's question marks about quite a few of them, I just thought La Passionaro might be worth a few quid each way. But aside from that, I do think the favourite looks very solid. And actually, as we go through the card, even though I don't think the weather's a bit grim and some of the ground's a bit sort of unsettling, but I do think the favourites today do look quite solid.
Yeah. Again, that's another thing sort of at this time of year, isn't it? Like I said, there's quite a lot of horses are unsuited by conditions or have had quite a long season, so you can get races that look competitive and aren't necessarily that competitive in the end. But that's the opener at Newmarket tomorrow. Like you said, we might see a good horse win that though, so keep an eye out for whoever gets their head in front for next year's campaign. The Rous Stakes over at Ascot is next. Just the 6 of them go for this 5-furlong listed event, and Relief Rally again. William Haggis, the market doesn't miss him. In the autumn, 6-5, Beautiful Diamond 7-2, Democracy Dilemma 11-2, Go Atletico is 13-2, Rumstar is 11-1, and Mia Harris 16-1 outside of the bunch there. Another 3-year-old for Owen Burrows. It's been a little bit out of form, but she does like bad ground, which she should get at Ascot tomorrow. But yeah, small field, like I said, bad ground at Ascot. Tom Segal there. No, it's important to be hydrated when you're about to preview a race. So, okay, clear your throat. You're ready and raring to go. Give us a bit of a gargle and a selection then here for the 150 at Ascot.
A gargle? Well, I don't fancy Mia Harris or Rumstar. Rumstar on the ground particularly. I thought the other... Well, you know what we're going to get, don't we? Because Democracy Dilemma's going to go really quick. Beautiful Diamond's pretty quick too. I thought Relief Rally was very obvious. Good Ascot form, good soft ground form. Back from a return last time, from an absence last time with a really good run at Newbury. 6-5, would I back her? Probably not. Do I think she's going to win? Probably. I also think Go Atletico has a chance for the Irish. Good soft ground form. It wasn't. Look, we're saying it's very soft ground. It wasn't too bad at Ascot today. It was soft, but it was no more worth than that. And I think the clerk of the course was suggesting it would be good to soft on the straight course by tomorrow. So it's not going to be anything like as desperate as looked likely earlier in the week. I thought he could go well, but I've been pretty boring to start with. I get better as the show goes on, hopefully. But I think Haggis will win the first 2 races, one at Newmarket, one at Ascot. I think Relief Rally is different class for him.
That's fine. It's fine. You keep your powder dry, and like you said, your throat lubricated for the later races. Yeah.
Gin and tonic of the day.
That's the secret, is it? That's the secret. That's why the dartboard's so low, because after the gin and tonic, that's where they end up.
Don't hit it by this time of the day normally.
Relief Rally then 6-5 favourite for William Haggis and Kieran Fallon. Again, again, like you said, it is this time of year. People go crazy for the 3-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's obviously run really well last time as well, hasn't she? So we know she's a good horse. We know she handles the ground. She's the most likely winner. I was quite tempted when she was 7-4. She's 6-5 now, I think, and that's short enough for me really. And like Tom, the other one I was interested in was Go Atletico. Now he hasn't hit the heights of last year when he was, winning good races on soft ground, and he was only 9th last time, but he wasn't beaten very far, and I thought he actually ran quite well, and he might just be on the way back. So I'd make him the danger. I'm not saying that I'm gonna have a bet in the race. I haven't had a bet in the race. If I did, I might take a chance on him against the Fav.
Okay. Just a quick word for Democracy Dilemma, who's obviously a very good horse. I'm not going to say a short runner necessarily, but that final half furlong's always a hold your breath job. But 6 runners, when it gets soft at Ascot, it is a little bit harder to make up ground than it normally is. Is there I can't see another obvious front runner in here.
No, you're right. But he lost 2 places towards the end on bad ground at Haydock, and it's just a much stiffer track, Ascot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's going to go hard. Because he doesn't know any other way. So I'd imagine it'll be a struggle for him. Yeah. But he might be one of those that you might think 2 furlongs out, he's got everything in trouble here. So it'd be interesting to see. But I just, the stiff nature of the track and the soft ground, I think, is against him.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Jamie Spencer, famed for his cool hold-up rides, is ironically one of the best front-running jockeys around, isn't it? So when you actually get him on a front runner, first ride aboard Democracy Dilemma for Jamie Spencer, who of course has had wonderful success at Ascot in these silks, not only this year but the year before as well, of course, on Cardam, Simon.
Oh yeah, listen, Jamie's a brilliant jockey. I found out he was a Coral ambassador for quite a few years ago, and so I used to speak to him all the time, and he's a really interesting guy to talk to about race tactics. And actually, you're absolutely right, he was almost at his best when he's right out the back or in front. He said, I'm sure he still rides loads of winners from mid-pack, but it's something you really notice about his, his best rides, I suppose. But I suppose, like you said, if he can somehow control the pace from the front, which isn't very easy on a horse who's obviously very free going like Democracy Dilemma, save a bit. Maybe he can then sort of steal the race from the front. But on a stiff straight track, it's so hard to do. And I just thought Relief Rally was just so obvious. She was 6-4 again 2 hours ago when I started taking the notes, sort of the prices down. She's now 6-5. So that, again, people just seeing that as value. I think 6-4, looking at the race, thinking, is she just not going to win? Look, she finishes first or second in all bar the one run over 7 furlongs. She's still relatively unexposed, ultra consistent, and 4 favourites have won this in 5 years, if that's remotely relevant. So I think she's a very solid favourite.
Okay, there we go. Relief Rally then is the solid favourite. Any selections at home? Robert Blackburn is going with the Owen Burrows Outsider. He thinks it's a rubbish race, which who knows, you might well be right. And Dave Brown says Relief Rally might well win, but she hasn't won since her 2-year-old days. I'd be against her at that price. Admittedly, her 2-year-old days weren't very long ago. She hasn't had that many chances, has she, to go on and build on that form. She's only raced 3 times this year, so 6-5 then Relief Rally. Before we move on to the next, I believe there's a bit of a price boost involving this race and the next.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to do it now or for the next race. But you're right.
Let's use it as a lovely bridge to the next preview.
Let's do that. Yeah. So it's a William Haggis special double, which is interesting actually. Tom's right. He's also got a favourite in the first race you preview. But this is for Relief Rally to win, and obviously he's got both Alassi and Hamish in the Cumberland Lodge. So to win with Relief Rally and one of those two in the Cumberland Lodge, the double is 4-1 from 130.
Okay. Thank you very much, William Haggis, then to win this race, and the Cumberland Lodge, the 225, is a 4-1 shot. Like I said, they're not particularly
evens, Ross. Look, we've been so keen on Relief Rally. She's gone evens in a matter of seconds.
She has, yeah.
I know. If we keep talking about this race, she'll be odds on by the time we get to the arc, won't she?
That 4-1's looking all right now.
She's gone back out again. You pointed it out. She's back out to 6-5 now. So, crikey. This market's all over the shop. Right, let's move on then to the Cumberland Lodge. A very different proposition indeed, apart from from the fact that there's a Willie Mags favourite, which could well be the order of the afternoon. Al-Azi 9-4 here for this Group 3 contest. Al Karim is 5-2, Hamish 130, Salt Bay 7-1. God's Window is 14-1, 16's Gather Ye Rosebuds and 22-1 bar those here for this Group 3 contest. A mile and a half in soft ground, 8 of them lining up, and a couple of previous winners, the last 2 years winners, Al Karim and Hamish coming back for another crack, and of course the year before that it was won by a talented horse in the Shadwell Silks, which of course are carried by Al-Azi in this Cumberland Lodge. Plenty of form lines tied in with the top 3 in the betting, and then you've got an unexposed, to a certain extent, 4-year-old from a very much in form autumn campaigner in the shape of Rafe Beckett and Salt Bay, who hasn't been seen since running OK at York, but has surely been kept for this autumn campaign, and some shocking ground given how well he ran in the autumn last year. Al-Azi, Al Karim and Hamish. I reckon Keels combine these 3 ages, and we're not far off you. I think these 3 have been around for
they've been around
for a hell of a long time.
They've been around
They've
for
got
a
a
while.
lot of work to go to get to Keels. I can tell you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. I can't retire yet, unfortunately.
If you go through the card at Ascot, we'll let you.
Yeah,
We'll do if you do a Frankie, we'll let you retire.
Yeah, I've gone close to going through the card once in my life, but that was in 1990, I think it was.
All right,
and it wasn't at Ascot, so that's how long ago it
Where
goes.
was that?
Sandown, Brigadier Gerard night. I went down in the last race by that much.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, mate. Sorry to bring that up.
But there you go. No, I won tons of money at what it was at the time, anyway. Right, anyway.
What do you got in this?
Yeah, I mean, Al-Azi, he's a horse. He looks like he's got Group 1 ability, doesn't he? But does he want to use it all when conditions are tough? Now, I know the conditions weren't that bad on the straight course, but it was sticky on the round course. Sometimes are pretty slow.
Yeah.
Worries me about it. I mean, given how easily he beat Al Karim last time, you'd imagine he'd be a fair bit shorter than that, because he kidded with him, didn't he?
Yeah.
But we know that Al Karim is as tough as old boots, and he loves he handles soft ground very well. We know exactly the same about Hamish. Hamish hasn't been at his best, but he hasn't had bad ground for quite a long while.
Yeah.
So I'd be quite interested in him, to be honest. He toyed with Al Karim on bad ground last year at Newmarket. I know it's last year, but he's still shown decent form this season, aside from last time on the all-weather. He gets back and gets his toe in. I think he'll run a big race.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's another one. It's horses the time of year, horses for the conditions as well. I mean, like you said, he absolutely loves shocking ground. And again, I mean, he's raced 5 times in October. He's won 2, finished second twice. He's won over course and distance. He's drawn in 6, so he's not going to be on the rail.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've all won over course and distance, the top 3, haven't they?
Yeah,
I think Al-Azi's the most talented horse, but I just wonder whether he'll want to put it in when the ground's deep.
Yeah. What do you make of the? I mean, we're talking about the market's gone mad for 3-year-olds in every race apart from this one, but you've got God's Window in here, who's a talented horse on his day.
A talented horse, but quite up to this level. I think it's a reasonable jump for him.
He's another one though. He hasn't raced on soft ground since, basically he's run 3 times on soft or heavy, won twice in novice events, and finished 3rd in a Group 1.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's on the figures, he's got to step forward a fair way, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's again a Gosden horse ridden by Safi Osborne, who is very good on most tracks, but the round track at Ascot, she's had some success over the past couple of seasons. Okay, Al-Azi, Al Karim, Hamish again, plenty of experience. I'm sure they've got some stories to tell. You were saying you're a bit warmer on some of the later races. Is this one of those races where you have a decent opinion, a strong opinion, Tom?
No, it's a tricky one for the Haggises. It's probably like sending your 2 kids out, isn't it, into a racetrack, your two favourite, and watching them come home and hoping that they've sort of dead heat, isn't it? Because they must be the 2 most favourite horses in the yard, I would imagine, the 7-year-old Al-Azi and the 8-year-old Hamish. I'm surprised they're running against each other, really, but I suppose they've got no option. It's a toss of the coin for me. I think, listen, all 3. Al Karim's got a good Ascot record. I think the others have got a bit, plenty of improving to do to get up to their level. If I'm being honest, Salt Bay's got the potential, hasn't he? But he was getting whacked by good old Not So Sleepy not long ago on soft ground, and he'd be a big price to beat Al-Azi and Hamish and Al Karim. So I don't know. I think one of the top 3 will win. Which one? I think probably Al-Azi will win. But it's a toss of the coin job. I was was desperate to find something. Thought Gabby Rosebuds loves soft ground and was really impressive on her debut. She likes Sophony and they love soft ground, but it's a real bit of a stretch thinking she can beat these three. I was going to be with Hamish, and then I watched Last Run again and thought that was a bit disappointing. I don't know. I'll ask you, but it's a non-bet race for me.
Yeah, you're right. It is one of those weird races because I imagine, in recent years, I reckon. Put it this way: if you haven't backed one of the top three at some point, then you've probably not been betting on flat racing, have you? Quite frankly. So I think we've all had a day where we've cheered home Al-Azi, Al Karim, or Hamish at the very least. And like I said, there are unexposed types at bigger prices. I mean, you're talking about trainers, and you mentioned Nigel Twist and Davies. The one in my head, the two trainers for autumn getting rattling out the stalls early in the autumn were Twist and Davies and Noel Mead, and he's got Lafayette in here. I mean. He's not in good form at the moment, Noel Mead, to be fair, although I think he had a winner the other day. But, yeah, like I said, there's interest up and down the race if you go into it deep enough. But it is three old favourites at the top of the betting here, Simon.
Yeah, you called it. I mean, this is one of the great advantages jump racing has over flat racing is familiarity of the stars and the horse who come back, year in, year out. But these are the flat equivalent, these sorts of horses, the Hamishes and Al-Aziz and Al Karim. I mean, Hamish won this 2 years ago. Al Karim won this race last year, and Al-Aziz was the 11% favourite, was beaten into fifth, and now they're all meeting, collectively tomorrow. And they're all horses I quite like. Hamish is a horse I love. He's been ultra consistent for years. He always turns up, but it's just the last couple of runs. He's just been disappointing. I actually look back, and from the 16th of October 2019 till his Coronation Cup second, he'd never run a race below an RPR of 110. It had been between 110, 120, 121, and then the last couple, that Newmarket run was a 94, Kempton 103. I mean, it's only little things. You just wonder, is he now just finally not, going to sort of on the decline? I mean, it's maybe a bit premature on the basis of two runs, and we'll find out tomorrow. But I just thought maybe it's hard to back him, given how consistent he used to be. And Al-Azi, he's been called a few names occasionally, but he was impressive last time. He's got a great record on soft ground. Jim Crowley he's in France for Matt, who he fancies strongly tomorrow. But I'm sure he'll be sad not to be riding this horse because he likes him a lot. So I expect him to win, Al-Azi.
Okay, Al-Azi 94. One more interesting point to make about Hamish, of course, is this is Kieran Fallon's first go on Hamish. Given how many rides he gets for the yard, it's normally Tom Marquand, of course, in the saddle, but he's been in very good form over the past couple of weeks as well. Interesting to see how he gets on with the old boy in this 225. Al-Azi seems to be a reformed character and is a good thing, says Toothpick Charlie. Al-Azi is Robert Ballard's banker. And Tommy Daniels says 7-2 each way at fifth of the odds is a mugs bet. Paul Kealy, yes or no? Mugs bet 7-2 each way, fifth of the odds.
I mean, if you think a horse is pretty much nailed on to be placed, I'll back a horse at 7-2 each way. I'm not saying I'll back this one, you know what I mean? But I've got no problem with doing it.
I mean, again, if you were looking at this, if you had to race 8 runners, I don't know, so you get some sort of some novice events, for example. There's only 3 that have got a chance.
Yeah, exactly. I've got nothing wrong with betting 7-2 each way. Would I bet each way in this race? I'm not sure, because as Simon has rightly pointed out, when it comes to Hamish, there is the question mark over whether he is starting to go into club, because he's had those 2 slightly lesser runs. Yeah. And if he runs to those levels, he won't be in the frame. So it's not like he's been doing those bomb-proof, cannot finish out the frame runs.
Yeah, fair enough.
So even though I would back him, I'm tempted to back him to win, I wouldn't back him each way.
Yeah, okay. So he's either going to be very much at his best, or he's gone at the game potentially, which might seem a bit harsh. But like I said, he is an 8-year-old now. He is starting to maybe be on the downgrade. But Hamish, 130 old favourite there for that Cumberland Lodge Stakes. Right, let's go back over to Newmarket, excuse me, shall we, for our first Group 1, the Sun Chariot Stakes. Can be a strange old Group 1 at times. We've had some surprising results, your Bills and Brooks and your Fontaines of this world. Tamfana is the 5-2 favourite for tomorrow's event. In Spiral is 3-1, See the Fire 3-1, Nashua 9-2, El Malka 8-1, and Darnation at 33-1. Again, you can really draw a line through these runners in terms of unexposed classic fillies or John and Thady Gosden. basically, with, again, old favourites. There are plenty of old favourites in here. Your Inspirals and your Nashwars. And we're talking about Hamish. Can he run up to the level that he's shown in the past? You could ask the same question for Inspiral, who, last year and the year before and the year before that, Tom, very rarely dipped below an RPR of 120. This year, she's been pretty shocking in 3 events. That said, she's a proper class act, and she's 3-1 second favourite in here. Is that sort of bookies dodging an old favourite they think that they know is going to get backed, or could she bounce back in this race?
I'm not sure she's been. Look, she was shocking at the start last time at Deauville, but if you actually just look through the form, it's a pretty good run. She's only she's obviously Chariot won, but she finished ahead of Coudoir and just behind the French Guineas winner. And she gave them all 8-length start. It all depends on the start for me. If she comes out the stalls, I think she's got a massive chance. But every time she runs, she seems to get worse. So she's not one I could back. So far this season, the 3-year-old fillies have been smashing up the older fillies. Until you person to your left, I'm wrong way around, left or right, not sure. Started telling everyone to back See the Fire earlier in the week. I was quite keen on her at a 6 or 7 to 1. 3 to 1, I'm not so sure because Tamfana is a big danger. If Inspiral bounces back, she's obviously a huge threat. You got the Guineas winner El Malka, who they keep telling me is getting better and better all the time. Doesn't see it on the track, but maybe she is. And I like Nashwar as a filly myself as well. I was, she's got, when she won the Falmouth last year, I thought she was superb back at a mile. So you can make a strong case for definitely the first 4. At their best, Inspiral, I think, is better than them, but we don't know what she's going to do. So sort of counted her out. I like See the Fire. I'm not sure I like the price.
Okay, fair enough. See the Fire is a 3-1 shot. See the Fire is also a horse that you've been trying to get on the right side of this season as well.
Yeah, I called her wrong all year, didn't I? I thought she wanted to make the running because she was keen, and I thought she'd just let her go because she's out of Arabian Queen, who was out of Barshib, and they both went from the front. But Oisin Murphy got her settled, and she flew home in the Strensville Stakes last time, and I think that was a better race than the race that Tamfana won, and I think she won it just as easily. And I couldn't understand the discrepancy in price now that has obviously closed. But she was 9 to 2 this morning. She was 7 to 1 yesterday. See the Fire. So there's been plenty of dough for her. Her best form last year in the Fillies Mile came on ground with cut in it. So I think she's versatile enough. Again, like Tom said, we're reaching a point where you can, at the prices, make a case for a lot of them. Like, Tamfana did look good at Sandown. There's no doubt about that. Inspiral did look on the way back, given the level of the form she ran last time. And Nashwar, like Tom said, I'm a massive fan of Nashwar as well. Yeah. And El Malka's been trying 1 mile 2 last time, and I thought she definitely needed it, but she didn't seem to stay. I'm a See the Fire fan though. I think she's the one. She's at least one of the ones that's going forward. I love the way she picked up last time, and if she can settle and stay on the heels of the leaders, I'm sure she'll be rattling home.
Yeah, yes. I mean, she is a funny one, isn't she? Because that, obviously, 3rd in soft ground at Newmarket last year, and then partly you look at that York fast ground, you think fast ground York form to Newmarket soft form, but like I said, she's also shown. She's shown ability in pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think she's just growing up a little bit as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's become a little bit more tractable last time.
Yeah.
And the more she does that, the better she'll become.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. It sounds like everyone's taking on Tamfana. Can we? What do we make?
I've got no problem with Tamfana at all. I think she's a good horse, definite potential winner. I just think, I think bookmakers always had her on side, and that's the only thing. It's just a price thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. We've got to point out that Simon mentioned it earlier. The horse she beat at Sandown won a group or listed race in St Cloud today.
Doha,
yeah. So the form's been given a boost. I was really impressed with her at Sandown. I backed Doha to beat her at Sandown and thought she had a good chance of beating her, but Tamfana made mincemeat of her. So, as Keel says, it's just a price thing, isn't it? I don't know if they're all the same price. Might I back Tamfana? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could even say, soft ground, that last year, Darnation absolutely battered See the Fire. And obviously, bolted up over a mile in soft ground earlier on in the year as well. She's you could argue she's just been outstayed in the last couple of starts. Al Malka, of course, is a good. I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because it could be tactical. It's Newmarket, so sometimes you don't quite know where they're going to go. They'll go down one, like you said last week. They could go down one rail, go down another. They could come down the middle. They could 6 horses split into 2 groups for all we know in these kind of races. But like I said, even the outsider Darnation has got a little bit on her card that could make her interesting. But yeah. Which, I mean, the race is pickling my brain a little bit, Simon, because like I said, I genuinely could see everything get involved a little bit here.
Well, that's good then. We like a race that pickles your brain, Ross. It probably means it's quite open and anything could happen. I always think as well, I think it's good to soft ground there, but it's a stiff track, isn't it? So I think quite a few of them have got that 10 furlong form, which I think is helpful because you really got to get home at this time of year at the Rowley Mile and. See the Fire, of course. I know you were talking about a form. You overlooked the 4th to City of Troy in the Great Coral Eclipse earlier in the summer, which I think was on soft ground. I mean, she was well beaten that day, but very good horse in front of her. And I quite fancy the runner-up that day tomorrow on Sunday at Longchamp. And Inspired has thought, look, she's won the race. 2021, 2023. Probably not been at her very best this year, but it wasn't. It was still a solid run last time. And at some point, she's drifting out to 3-1. She'll get to a price where you'll just think, is she not just still the class act? If she touched 7-2 or even bigger, I'd probably be quite interested. We have got a special, obviously the 2 popular, really sort of popular, well-known horses, Nashua and Spiral, both trained by the John and Thady Gosden team. If you think one of them will win and you're not sure which one, we're going 6-4, John and Thady Gosden to win the Sun Chariot. That works out at about 6-5 or 5-4, I think, on the. If you backed them both. So 6-4 is the In the Know special. For me, I say it's pickling my brain too, Ross, and I might just keep it simple and go for the old favourites. Class is permanent and back in Spiral, particularly if she keeps drifting.
Okay, in Spiral then, currently 3-1 second favourite here. Just reiterate, Sun Chariot thoughts?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Cedar Fire will step up and take the Grade 1, but it is wide open.
Yeah, and you're in agreement, Tom, I believe.
Well, if I had Keels' 7-1, I would definitely be thinking I was on a good bet. At 3-1, I'd like her to win, but I think it's really hard. It's really hard.
And just to check, I did think for a second we were about to have one of the the BBC News interview where the guy's having a very serious conversation about world politics, and then his 2 kids come rattling in.
One of the great clips.
It's genuinely one of the greatest moments in human history, I think. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go and watch it 10 times in a row on YouTube. But the door started to open behind you, Tom, and I thought it was going to happen. I thought I didn't know what was going to happen, but
it was the new dog, Ross. The new dog just came in.
Doors.
Yeah. Beautiful timing, beautiful time. And new dog, but has already learned how to open your office door.
Exactly, and quickly left.
Get the hell out. Exactly.
Okay, the Sun Chariot Stakes then. Moving on then, from that 240 at Newmarket, we're back to Ascot. Bengough Stakes here, 6 furlongs and 5-2. The favourite here, Giraffe, 5-1 English Oak. Purasangwe is 11-2. Vadream 13-2. Wiltshire 8-1. Apollo 9-1 a day in Devon 10s. Corker is 12-1, and the outside of the lot is Russet Gold here for this Group 3 over 6 furlongs at Ascot, which again could well be a springboard to a potential crack at a Group 1 at Ascot a little bit later on in the season. And I think if you've seen Giraffe stick his neck out over his last 2 wins, someone's got to do it, I guess. He certainly looked like a potential Group 1 performer. English Oak's been tipped up as a Group 1 performer all year, and he's dropping back to sprinting. And then you've got a few horses in here who will absolutely relish conditions. In particular, Vadream, who it couldn't get any softer for Vadream to bring Charlie Fellows as a stable star, possibly stable star, probably stable star into the mix. But yeah, really interesting top 2 in the betting here, because obviously Giraffe's very, very talented, loves the track, and just keeps getting better and better and better. But I do like a horse proven at the track over a little bit further, and I think the English Oak dropping back to sprinting angle's an interesting one, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, he was one of the most impressive winners of the whole Royal Ascot, wasn't he, when he won the 7 furlong race? He was up with a strong pace the whole way and came well clear. So you can easily make it. I like this race because I thought it had a nice betting shape to it a minute. And I've just looked at what Keels went for, and we sort of came from it from the right angle, but we come up with different answers because I think we've got the 2 outsiders in the whole field. I like Corker myself because I just think he's a September-October horse. his form sort of takes off around September, October. I thought he ran a cracker in the Air Gold Cup last time. Ground was way too fast. And it sort of proved to me that 6 furlongs is where he's at now. He doesn't win very often, but when he does win, it tends to be on soft ground in September or October. And I just thought that Air Gold Cup, these top handicaps are as good as these sprints. And I thought at the prices, he might run well. He was second in the 5 furlong race on the card last year, rattling home again. I just thought with the conditions as they were, with Carl Burke's form as it is, in a wide open race where you can make, where there's like £4 between them all on Racing Post ratings, or £5 or £6, something like that on Racing Post ratings, where you can make a case for them all. Horses that have run well at the track, as you say, come good at this time of the year, won't mind what the ground is. If Corker gets out, which is his problem, a bit like in Spiral, he can do the damage in the first couple of at the start. If he can get out anywhere near them, I think he'll rattle home, and I think he'll give you a good run for money at 12-1.
Okay, fair enough then. Corker is a 12-1 shot. Again, I mean, and if they're going to come middle down the track, or maybe even edge over to that far side, it could well be that the low draws come into it, and the one you like is a big price from a low draw.
Yeah, exactly. It's strange, isn't it? I was a little bit worried about the low draw, and the one thing we must remember about Ascot is what they do on one day doesn't bear any resemblance to what they, there's no guarantee at all that they will do it again. Now, the big handicap later, I think 5 of the last 7 have been drawn. 5 of the last 7 winners have been drawn 13 or higher. And there've been a couple when Ade won it a few years ago, miles clear on the far side. Yeah. So we don't know where they're going to go. There's no point pretending that they do. I just thought, like Tom, this is a lot closer on the figures than the betting sort of suggests. I think Giraffe has questions to answer on the ground. Mm-hmm. Trainer says he'd work well on soft, but he'd still like it to dry it out. So pick the bones out of that one. I don't think he's got any action for soft ground. So I think the more it dries out, the more it'll suit him. English Oak's been spectacularly weak in the betting.
Yeah,
he was 7-2 favourite this morning, and.
Is there anything? I mean, again, you two often have a positive impact. I mean, if things start shorting at bigger prices,
no, he was drifting. Right? He was drifting long before that. I mean, it'll be market forces for sure. But I mean, if he was 11-2, I think I'd have probably gone for him. Yeah, you know what I mean. He's a big price at that price. But you can make cases for lows. As I said, Vadream has been mostly running in Group 1 races and has run really well in a couple of them. Yeah, and then didn't win a race she probably should have won at Newmarket when dropping down in grade. So, she's a funny one, but she's won this race before. She was 3rd to Quinault, and in that race, Russet Gold was 2nd. And he's 20-1, she's 13-2. He was going the right way when he's hit soft ground. His last 2 starts at Newmarket, finishing 4th to Quinault, then 2nd to Quinault, getting much closer the second time. And he could actually have run in the Air Gold Cup and been very well in, but they instead decided still to go for another listed race at Newbury last time at 7 furlongs, and he clearly didn't stay. Raced a bit keenly. And he's back at 6 furlongs. He's at Ascot. Despite the form figures, he's actually run very well every time he's run at Ascot. He's got one where he was well down the field, but did have a really bad draw and was only beaten 3 lengths. And he's a brother to St Lawrence and a half brother to Darya, who are both Royal Ascot winners. So I think he likes the track. Roger Vervin is obviously pretty much convinced that he is a group horse. Yeah. So I'll give him another go at a big price. Yeah, it won't be a big bet by any stretch of the imagination, but I did think he was interesting.
Okay, Russet Gold then, who is a big price here. What price is he, Simon?
Russet Gold. 18-1 was last time I looked. I'll have a little check now.
Yeah, I think 18's on my
screen. While you're looking, Si, just a quick point about Vadream. Her 3 best runs this year have been on the 3 times she's run on fast ground. Her worst ones have been on soft ground.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's proper weird, though.
It's proper weird. We had her down as a mudlark. The twice she's run in the mud this year, she's run no race whatsoever. She ran 5th in the Royal Ascot on fast ground, 4th at Haydock when the ground was good, and at the start of the season she nearly won the 5 furlong sprint at Newmarket on Guineas weekend. Yeah. Those are her best runs. So who knows what she's going to come up with tomorrow?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's 2 ways you can make the 2 ways you can make that argument. You could say maybe she's not as dependent on soft ground as you think. On the other hand, if she's running that well on ground she doesn't like, she could absolutely dot up when she gets the ground she wants. So
yeah, but she's had chances on the soft this year, hasn't she? And she hasn't produced her best. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know, she was 7-4 favourite to win that listed race at Newmarket that Keels was talking about, and she didn't run anywhere near up to form, in my opinion.
No, fair enough. Okay, the Bengough Stakes then, our pundits taking a couple of outsiders. There's only one winner, says Sean O'Connor, and that's English Oak. Darren Walker agrees. Wiltshire each way for Sean Money. Apollo 1 for Toothpick Charlie.
If every horse deserves to win a race, it's Apollo 1, isn't it?
I love it.
It
Well,
is.
you know. But something's going to nut him on the line again, isn't it?
I mean, they're gonna if it happens again, they're gonna have to change his name, aren't they?
Apollo 2.
He doesn't really have to be Apollo 2, is he? That's the Bengough Stakes then. Moving on to the next race at Ascot, the 3:35, the Challenge Cup here, 7 furlongs the distance for this one. As you would expect, 18 of them, a big field for this. One of what? How many? Probably have 3. Is it 4? Maybe big 7 furlong handicaps at Ascot over the season.
Oh, there's at least 4. It's probably more than that. In fact, there's more than that.
You've got the International, the Challenge, the
Victoria Cup.
and the one at the Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
Well,
and there was
Balmoral's a
one.
mile, isn't it?
No, Balmoral's a mile, but there was one a month ago, wasn't there? One by Gray's Monument. That was none of those, was it? Was it?
Oh yeah, but I mean like a big one. You know, there's this. That wasn't a heritage one, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was it? Oh, there you
was,
go.
yeah.
They have loads of them.
There's loads of them.
And yeah, they normally get a right old lineup, which they have done this year as well for the Challenge Cup. Chariot is 9-2, Germanic 6-1, Volterra 6-1. Again, 3-year-olds all at the top of the betting here. Fresh 8-1, Acadian Thunder is 9-1, Golden Mine 9-1, Carry the One at 12-1, Divine Libra at 14-1. And again, plenty of informed horses or horses with course form. Rebel Territory loves bad ground, and Ascot. Too Tempting keeps winning. Popmaster starts to come to the fore at this time of year as well. So lots of them in with a squeak here, but. You've got the 3-year-olds again dominating the betting here, including impressive Goodwood winner Kirat, who's got a good Ascot run to his name, to be fair, as well. Germanic, who looked all over the winner at Doncaster until the sort of final half a furlong, and Volterra, who ran an absolute blinder at York and does have that nice angle, which I do like in these Ascot races, of being proven over a little bit further, especially in bad ground. I think he's very interesting. But to be fair, I mean, we could do the whole show on this race, couldn't we?
Yeah, you could do. It's it's typically competitive, isn't it? I mean, the Kirat form, you've got to doff your cap to that, haven't you? Because he beat Witness Stand at Goodwood, and Witness Stand's come out and bolted up and listed company at Newbury since then. Kirat's worst run last year was when, sorry, not worst run, but got beat, chinned odds on very soft ground. Probably won't be that soft now though, and he obviously handled it well enough, and he's been an on-runner because of fast ground, so he's probably going to have the right conditions. Germanic, like you said, he was a little bit free, wasn't he, last time? They've taken the headgear off him. But if you don't get home at Doncaster, do you get home at Ascot? And I still don't understand why he's a shorter price than Golden Mind.
Well, Haggis, I think, is the answer, isn't
Well,
it?
Haggis is the answer. But it's not like Richard Farry hasn't won big races at Ascot in his time, is it? Like, you know what I mean? And this is a horse he always thought a lot of. He's only beaten a length and 3/4 by Hartem in the Vintage Stakes last year on easy ground. Easily his best run. Obviously had his problems because he was late back, ran at York, no good on fast ground, but then gets gelded, comes back, runs a career best at Donny on soft, running past Germanic in the last 50 to 100 yards. He's officially £3 well in, so he's officially the best handicap horse in the race. Yeah, I think he's got a big chance. Whether stall 16 is the right place to be or not is another matter. We guarantee we're not going to know until the race itself, are we? And the other one I backed was United Approach, because his form has worked out really well. And I didn't understand why he didn't go for that big handicap at Ascot last month, because it ended up being won by Gray's Monument, who he'd finished ahead of when they were second and third to Make Me King, who won a Group 3 next time. It was a good, solid piece of form. And obviously that is good form because Gray's Monument has come out and won one of these up the stands rail as well. And United Approach instead went for a classified stakes the day before when he was badly in at the weights with all of his rivals bar one. And he still nearly won it. and he finished a length ahead of the very well backed Haggis Train favourite. And it came out as another career best, and I thought he was interesting at a double figure price as well.
Yeah, a rare run in this type of event for James Tate as well. He's not your big Ascot handicap kind of trainer.
No, you don't associate him with it, but I think he's got a horse at the right end of the handicap. I think there's definitely something to come with him.
Well, the thing I have with James Tate is that some trainers will, well, we're sending one up to to Newcastle, we'll put you in as well. James Tate it seems to me, must be obsessed with strike rate and statistics, because he never ever runs one when it doesn't have a chance. He'll give them 7-8 months off and then come back and they run well. So the fact that he's running at all, I think, makes him interesting at 16-1. The one thing he doesn't have, though, I did have a look at this, Tom, though. Last 15 years, again, I do like soft ground horses that stay a little bit further. 135 horses are in the past 15 years who haven't won over further than 7 furlongs. 5 have won. 80 horses have run in that time who have won over further, and 8 have won. And quite a lot of them have, the play strike rate gets quite good as well for horses who definitely stay a little bit further. Like I said, stiff track, soft ground, big field. It's fairly obvious when you say it, but you still get a lot of horses who, like Kealy said, aren't maybe getting home at Doncaster and go to Ascot and don't get home there either.
Well, I hope you're right, because the one I've backed has won over a mile. Acadian Thunder is the one I like a bit. Just simply on the last run, I thought Billy Garrity rode him, and I thought he gave him an absolute peach of a ride. He was drawn in stall 1, right on the outside, and he was the only jockey to switch him to the stands rail, which had been proven to be the best part. And he was last with 2 furlongs to run because he'd done that. But he went past the whole field bar Gray's Monument and finished second. And I thought that pointed to him being had to be a well-handicapped horse on that. That 7 furlong Ascot form on soft ground. He's by Night of Thunder. He'll love conditions. He's trained by a man who you just said was one of the guys that is very good at this time of the year, Acadian Thunder. And I think he's his best chance. He runs 4, but I think Jason Watson, who rides most of the horses, is on this one. And I think it's pretty obvious why. I think he's got a pretty good chance. My worry, and it is a massive worry, having watched the racing today, is drawn in stall 14, because I think they're going to go up in the middle to far side.
Well, this is the strange thing, Tom, isn't it? Like, even the horses today that did race on the stand side, they went nowhere near the actual rail, did they?
No,
Which was
it's crazy.
You know,
even I was looking at like the Bengough Stakes last year. You know, you look at it and initially you think, oh, the winner. I was looking at Anaf, won from 8, but was switched off and came down the middle. They came to the rail and he still came off the rail and won down the middle. So it is kind of.
It's crazy. It literally is playing Russian roulette with the draw these days, and it's what I personally think it's putting off people betting in these big handicaps, because you just don't know where you have no idea. You don't know where they're going to go. You have no idea before. The punters don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because in the Cambridgeshire the other day, you know, the ones up the far side, some of them were backed up the far side on the low numbers. Most of the favourites were drawn on the high numbers. People didn't know where it's going to go. And I think when you have a result like the Cambridgeshire and some of these races at Ascot, where you end up having no chance, you know, after about, you know, when you see the result with the first 10 or something finishing on one side, puts you off having another go, because you think, well, you know, I would just literally throw my money away.
Yeah.
And so I just don't know where they're going to go. I would imagine that after what happened in the last race today, the jockeys are going to go towards the far side, and that might be accentuated by the fact that Germanic and Volterra, who are confirmed front runners, are both drawn. I think they were drawn in 2 and 4. So that might lead them up there, even if there isn't a draw advantage. Do you see what I mean? If I was in stall 18, I'd stay as close to the rail as I possibly could. But I don't think they're going to do that.
No, I mean, you're right. You don't know. I mean, and in my head, back end of the season, soft ground. I mean, that far rail on the straight course is probably the least used anyway. So in my head, I always kind of go to that far side. In an Escobar, for example, Aldari, both won in soft ground from low draws. But then 2019, you know, Kinran from box 17 came down this near side, and the year before that, Raisin Sand from 17 beat Ripoff from 18. So yeah, you won't know until after a furlong, will you?
You won't know until after the race. So it makes I just find it very frustrating watching races like this when I backed Acadian Thunder. When I did it, I thought he was perfectly drawn in stall 14. Watching that last race now, I'm literally really, really concerned that he's drawn in the wrong place. And that's just annoying. It's frustrating. I'm hoping he's not. But if all things equal and we have a fair track and a fair field, I think he's got a very good chance, because I thought that run last time where he went from last to second, he must have made up 10 lengths on most of the field. Marked him down as a very well handicapped horse. I think he went up £2 for it. He's a typical David O'Meara improver. He was with Roger Varian as a 2-year-old. He's not had that many runs, really. I think he'll probably end up winning some of these big 7 furlong mile handicaps in the future, especially when there's some give on the ground, and I'm hoping it's this one.
Yeah, and again, David O'Meara, a trainer who over the past 5 years has a 12% strike rate, is currently running at a 17% strike rate, and because it does love soft ground in October. Anyway, we've got the Arc to preview as well, and I'm sure we'll have some fun and games about the draw in that as well. So, Simon, Clare, what have you got in the Challenge Cup before we get onto the big race of the weekend?
Yeah, I see you said that Fresh, worth giving a shout out to Fresh, the standing dish in this race. I think he's running the last 3 renewals, favourite for the last 2 and bombed out. It was placed 3 years ago. And Kirat, Germanic and Volterra have collectively run 18 times in their lives so far. And Fresh has run 18 times at Ascot and has been in the first 3 9 times. So he's an absolute specialist. But I must say, the interesting thing I thought was that 4 favourites have won in 10 years. For what is such a competitive race, it does tend to sort of show you that that the fancied runners can run well. I thought Kirat was very solid again. The Rafe Beckett in red hot form. Obviously, it looks like he's got form on the soft ground. I just thought Kirat was very solid. And at a bigger price, Ross Colin bounced back to form last time, and his record on soft ground is much better than anything else in his book. So I thought he, at a price, if you're looking for something a big price at 25, I thought he might be worth a bit of fun. And we're obviously paying 5 places, given the big field.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon Clare. That's the Challenge Cup then. Off to Sunday then for a look at the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Again, no Geldings, a few notable absentees here, but we've still got 3 3-year-olds who've all won Group 1 races at a co-favourite of 9-2. The trio, they are Sosi, Los Angeles and Luc de Vega. An eye-catching Japanese raider after a good run last time out. Shin Emperor is a 6-1 shot. Al Riffa, who in hindsight, maybe that Sandown run was in the clips wasn't City of Troy running below himself. Maybe it was Al Riffa running above himself. He's 10-1. Blue Stocking, of course, comes into this off the back of a soft ground Group 1 win last time out as well. I mean, even you go down the field and you've even got Hayes Ark in here at an absolutely monstrous price, who earlier on this season won here at Longchamp over 10 furlongs in Group 1 company. Yeah, it's absolutely wide open stuff. David Manuisia, of course, at Sunway has had a few interesting rides, as we discussed before the Ledger, and he got another one in that as well. It is a wide open Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, despite the fact that you probably could throw 2 or 3 other horses in here that you'd like to see lined up for a crack. But it's a funny one, isn't it? Because there's the whole talk about the whether to run Geldings, and this is a bit of a stallion maker over the past few years. I have to tell you, it's more of a future filly and mare.
This is as difficult as the Ascot Handicap, isn't it?
Well, it is, because there's no clear standout.
There's no standout.
And everything's got a
on most
chance.
racings, there's £6 between the whole field.
Yeah.
There was £2 between 10 of them. Right? And they include 50-1 shots and 33-1 shots, and on best pieces of form, it's just going to be who gets the best trip, really. I mean, unless one of the 3-year-olds really improves. Now, I think the 3-year-old form, I don't rate the 3-year-old form that highly. I see Andre Farb said he wasn't sure about it either the other day. I mean, Los Angeles is now joint favourite. He's won an Irish Derby, scrambling home by 3/4 of a length from Sunway, who's a 33-40-1 chance. Yeah. It's not, there are no standouts. So I ended up backing a couple of outsiders, but to very small money. Continuous. He was 5th in the race last year. I think the first 4 in last year's race would be in the first 4 again. They're just better horses. I think the highest rated horse in this race is 120. You know what I mean? So we're talking about a substandard race in terms of class. And Continuous, yes, he didn't win his trial, but he had to make his own running then. And I don't think he wants that. And I'm sure Christoph Simeon won't do that. He hasn't got a great draw in stall 14. Fantastic Moon blew out in the race last year, German trained, but I think he's a big price. Basically, on what he's done on his last 2 runs, he beat the well-travelled Dubai Honour pretty comfortably in Baden last time, and the 3rd was beaten a similar distance by Al Riffa the time before. And he's a 25 to 1 shot. He won the German Derby last year. He looks like he's improved again this year. And he's got a decent draw, and according to connections, he doesn't want soft ground. It doesn't look like it's going to be that, because the rain that was forecast yesterday morning, that half of that's disappeared off the radar by the looks of it for Sunday, and it's supposed to be dry for the next couple of days. So, I'd take those two. I would much rather have a couple of stabs outsiders, and you could make a case for loads of them, than bet the ones at the shorter end of the market.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, I mean, the draw is going to come into this again, mainly because of the trip. I mean, the race at Fantastic Moon, the one that Hires Arc won earlier on in the year, anything went down the rail in the home straight was beaten out of sight, and a lot of them came out next time and won or nearly won in good company. So, getting a good trip, getting a clean run down the straight as well. The mud will be flying, even if it's not massively soft. Now, obviously, we can't get your selection because you haven't necessarily decided on it for the paper, Tom. But you did mention the Andre Fabre 5-year-old mare, of which you were going to pronounce with aplomb, I imagine, here in your column earlier in the week.
I did, until she was drawn trap 16, Maquise de Sevigné, or whatever she's called. I just thought, when I was looking down it, and she'd won 5 Group 1s, she's unbeaten this year, she's won the Romanée, she beat Via Sistina very easily on soft ground last year. People are looking at her last run and saying that's terrible form, but I don't think that's an Andre Fabre get it ready run, isn't it, for the Arc? This has been her target all year long. So I was keen on her, but 25 but Trawl 16, it's just really hard to win from out there. Especially the more it dries out, actually, the harder it is. So she sort of might be off the list now, especially because she's got to prove her stamina, and she's going to have to be held up from out there and come around the field. So Fantastic Moon is I was on him last year after he won the Niel. He absolutely bolted up in the Niel. And because of that, I backed him to win the Arc last year, which was a kiss of death for him, because I've got one of all the races in the world, the Arc is the one I've got the worst. I looked at it today. 1988 was the last Arc winner I backed. Heels Tony Bin. It's been a long time since Tony Bin won.
1988. That's a lot. That's longer since that Simon Clare clip. That's 6 years older than that Simon Clare clip.
I had
the last Arc winner I backed. So it tells you what a great record I've got in the race. I find it really, really hard. I tend to be on these sort of 25 to 1 shots that I think, they haven't got that much to find, and then watch one of Andre Fabre's 3-year-olds win by 5 lengths, or an Able win, or something like that. So I do think Fantastic Moon's got a chance. I do like Al Riffa, though. I do. I just think people have categorised him as not being good enough without really looking at his form. He won a Group 1 as a 2-year-old. His 3-year-old career was sort of a mishmash, but he got closer than any horse has to last year's winner, Ace Impact, in a Group 2 at Deauville. He started the season all year long. They've said he's getting ready for this. I thought his run at Sandown was marked up massively, because he was last turning for home, wasn't he? On soft ground. It was a hard day. We remember we were all there, Blake and Persica, and everything was winning up from the front. Al Riffa was held up last and came through to give City of Troy probably the closest race he's had in his life, apart from the one he lost. And last time, I just thought he took off at 1.5 miles. He's bred to stay 1.5 miles. He's out of a Galileo mare. And I think 1.5 miles and this race will suit him perfectly. Obviously, well, not obviously, because Utaka has ridden more winners than all of these, probably most of these put together. I would have preferred Dylan Brown McGonigal to ride, because I think he knows the horse, and obviously it's easier to ride a horse, and just get on him for the first day. But I like Al Riffa. The more I look at the race, I think he's going to run really well. He's 1.5 miles good. He's unexposed, serious class. And I just think he's going to run a big race. So At the moment, that's the way I'm leaning, Al Riffa. But that can all change once I've watched a few races at Longchamp tomorrow and see that you got to be drawn in straw 1, 2, or 3 or something stupid like that. And but as Keel said, it is wide open. This Aventure must have a chance. If she really stays 1.5 miles, I know she's won over 1.5 miles, but she's one of those horses that her last half furlong is always her worst. And that just slightly worries me that she'll come there cruising and then get worried out of it. Delius could easily turn the tables on Sosi. He beat Luc de Vega last time. He's an improving Jean-Claude Rouget horse. There's loads you can make cases for. So I won't be going near the top of the market. I don't really fancy Los Angeles and Luc de Vega on what I don't fancy Luc de Vega on what she did last time. Los Angeles just looks a bit of a lummox to me. Sosi is getting better, obviously, and could be the one. But like Keels and Andre Fabre said, I'm not sure the 3-year-olds are that good. So I'll be looking for an older horse. At the moment, it's Al Riffa.
Okay, Al Riffa then is a 10-1 shot. I mean, you know which one we haven't. You know who we haven't
Blue
mentioned.
Stocking.
You know we haven't mentioned Blue Stocking. We've just got to mention it. I mean, neither of you fancied Ascot and York because of the fast ground. She's finished 2nd and 4th for an absolute blinders behind. What price would Goliath, City of Troy, Calandigan be in these? They'd be well fancied.
Yeah, she's got to be a player, hasn't she? She's got stall 3 as well, hasn't she? Like, you know, I mean,
never finished out the 4. Never finished out the front 2 in soft ground.
No, she's in the right place. She's definite player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, you could throw 3 or 4 other horses in it from this season, Simon, but that would turn it in from a very good race into an almost great race. But we've still got a cracker on our hands.
Oh yeah, definitely. Listen, it's been well previewed by you all. I mean, pace can be made for so many of the horses, but like Tom, Al Ripper for me, absolutely. In America, the former students there would describe this horse as a road warrior because he's been to France, Saratoga, been over to Ireland, and then Britain for the Coral Eclipse, then over to Germany. His Group 1 last week. He's really battle hardened, travels everywhere. I mean, that run at Saratoga was over a mile 1 on firm ground. He was just done for toe really for that particular race. The second in the Coral Eclipse looks really strong form now. I think he's got a great chance in the Arc to Triomphe, so he'd be the one for me. We're going 4 places. There's a couple of in-the-know specials. You can have a bet on Aidan O'Brien or Joseph O'Brien to win the Arc. You have 3 running for you: Los Angeles, Al Riffa, and Continuous. That's 100 to 30 from 5 to 2. And then a British or Irish train winner is 5 to 2 from 15 to 8. And that's, of course, Los Angeles, Al Riffa, Blue Stocking, Continuous, and Sunway. So a couple of in-the-know specials if you want to group a few together. But for me, all over Al Riffa to represent the great Coral Eclipse form. I'm very loyal.
Okay.
Unfortunately for you, Si, it's 1988 since the last back the winner, so that's that
Well, just don't back it.
There you go. Lovely stuff.
already have, unfortunately.
Oh God.
Yeah, you've my sister's had an entire life since you backed the last. She was born in 1988. She's probably backed more Arc winners than you potentially.
Yeah.
Well, at the very least, just as many. Right. Well, we'll get naps in just a second, but first it's this.
To the final bend of the Coral Fan Derby, where racing lovers of the UK are in a spectacular contest. And watch this, he's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized maraca. They're all getting rewards now. He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free Coral Rewards Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
Okay, big weekend then, both in the UK and over in France as well. So what is the nap going to be from various members of the panel? Let's find out right now, starting off with you, Mr. Paul Kealy.
Oh, it's a difficult one. I'm going to go for Cedar Fire because I want to see her win a Group 1.
Yeah? Okay, Cedar Fire then in the Sun Chariot. Tom Segal.
Well, Ascot's got me flummoxed, so if I'm allowed, I'm going to another TV race, but one we didn't preview. One of the sales races at Newmarket, and the interestingly named Aubergine. Not a great fan of aubergines. You an aubergine man, Keels? I doubt it.
Don't even know what it is, mate.
Fruit. It's a
That's not true. Well, no, I'm not going to. But you got to cook them right, though, Tom. So tell us why aubergine will be cooking.
The favourite for the sales race at Newmarket is Brighton Boys, rated 88. Not a great standard that Aubergine's got to get to. She won her maiden for Hugo Palmer. She's got loads of 2-year-olds, loads of good 2-year-olds this season, and I just thought that she could be a lot better than that.
I thought a Henry Candy horse, and that was half interesting, Tom.
Yeah, right down the bottom.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. If he'd been having any winners, a very quiet year, isn't he?
Well, don't worry. Tom Segal's for our American viewers, by the way, Eggplant is the one that you want to be backing. Simon Clare, what's the nap?
In the 3 o'clock, the old Bengough Stakes, Prix won the Coral Rockingham Stakes on soft ground this time last year at York. Was second in the Coral Charge at Sandown on soft ground. I'm not just because you mentioned the Coral Soft Brexit. Puro Sangay, perfect conditions tomorrow at Ascot. I think she'll win.
He's done it. That was superb. Round of applause. How many goals?
And I'll go for Democracy Dilemma in the Rous Stakes. Jamie Spencer from the front, especially as see Tom Segal being very democratic there with his opinions on Simon Clare's selection. Okay, lovely stuff. Right, enjoy the weekend. It's going to be an absolute corker. We'll be back next week for is it Future Champions Day? What is it? It's Future Champions Day next week, and then there's Champions Day, and then there's the whole winter ahead of us. Like the stream if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you next time. Good night.